Hey guys, this is Sir Robert, and we're going to look at Town Hall 7 versus Town Hall 7 attacks. And the way I look at it, um, basically, to make a long story short, is Town Hall 7 with dragons and 3 spells. You should be 3-starring every single Town Hall 7 attack, period. So the way I look at the base is, first I look at the air defenses. I want to look at which is a greater air defense. Um, is one higher level than the other, where it's located, which is probably actually more important than the level. So as long as I have 3 lightning spells, I want to take out the one that's going to give me the most trouble of having to take out. So for example, if this air defense was closer to the center by the town hall and I had more buildings to go through, I'd want to take that out. Here it's pretty equal. They're both very close to the outside. All right, this one may have an air sweeper that's in its way, one more building, but they're both ridiculously simple. So this is not a great example. The second thing I look at is the air sweeper. I don't want to have my dragons going into the air sweeper if possible. Again, this is a very poorly designed base with a poor location of the air sweeper, but sometimes the air sweeper would be over here facing this way where I just don't want to have to come into that sweeper. So if that's possible, I would take out the one that the air sweeper is causing a problem for, because I want to attack more so to the backside of an air sweeper. The next thing I look at is if these were more towards the center of the base, is what buildings do I have to go through in order to get to the air defense? So I would want to take out the one that's more difficult to get to with the lightning spells and go after the one that's easier to get to. So buildings that are pose the greatest problems to go through would be the town hall, that has the highest hit points, dark elixir storage, second highest hit points, clan castle, and then storages. And that's something also to think about when you're designing your base also, because you want those to be in front of your air defense. You want to slow those dragons down. Here again, it's a very poorly designed base. None of these are really issues. The only issue that concerns me at all is this air sweeper. I don't want to have to come into it, which would never be the case anyway, because it's so exposed. Usually in my clan castle troop, for an easy base, it doesn't really matter. I usually take out bases with 9 dragons. In this particular case, someone gave me some ground troops, so I used those against the air sweeper. That's not my normal attack. That's not what I normally would do, but that's what I had available. So the next thing is, how do you deploy your dragons? I see many people just put them all in a big clump. When you do that, they just go from one building to the next, and they wind up going around the base often, or they put them in a line, and that they sometimes go a little haphazard. The best way to do it, which is not so important on this particular base because it's a very easy base, is you want to take out the outer buildings first, wait a few seconds, let them start to go down, and then come in more centrally, and then start taking out some center buildings so that the dragons start turning inward to get more and more dragons to the center, so they're coming up the center here. Now, is this essential for Town Hall 7s? No. Is it essential for Town Hall 8 attacks later on? Yes. Because in Town Hall 8 attacks, you're going to wind up using Rage a lot more than lightning spells, and you want to rage as many dragons as possible and get them coming up towards the middle of the base. Town Hall 7 is not so important, but it's a good thing to get into a good habit of doing, especially when you have a more difficult base where these air defenses are in the center, where you really need those dragons coming up the middle. Let's take a look at this attack and see how we did.